there's still one of them that needs to go. Yeah, Facebook. Boom. All right, we're getting that rolling. All right. I think we're about up and running, so let's go ahead and do the thing here. This is day 22 of writing and recording a song every day. So, in January. Specifically in January. This ends at the end of January. January 31st, the last day. Sphere is our random word. Sphere is no more in the Songfight archive, so we're going to go with the company is the next random word. Pardon me. Nothing with the word accompany in the Songfight archive. Draw. I know there's going to be Let's Call It a Draw as one of them. I believe I'm even in that one. Yeah, I won that one. Okay. Well, there you go. And then chop drawer, and that does not count because it's not the right word. Preference is the next random word. Nothing with the word preference in the Songfight archives. Next one is comment. I know there's cryptic comment. I was part of that one. I think I won that one too. Yeah, that's two of them that I won on Songfight. Go figure that there are two random words. And I pulled up songs in the Songfight archive where I won those fights. That's wild because I've not won a whole lot of them, but there you go. That's two of them. Imposter. There's collapse. There's nothing with collapse in the Songfight archive. There's protest. Nothing with the word protest in the Songfight archive. Quantity. Nothing with the word quantity in the Songfight archive. Accompany. I want to say that one's come up, but it's not there. Random word donor. Nothing with the word donor in the Songfight archive. Mask. Behind a mask. Behind a mask. I'm gonna veto that. That one doesn't sound. That doesn't sound like the right one tonight. Blade. Nothing with the song with that in there. Ear. Oh, there's a whole. The word ear is part of so many other things here. Tearing history down, bare food, verge of tears. These are all a whole bunch of things. None with the actual word ear though. So introduction. We're trying to find a title to work with. Introduction. There's nothing in the Songfight archives with that word. Apparatus. We're struggling as the month goes on here. Credit is the next random word. There's nothing in the Songfight archives with the word credit. Community. Is there something? No, there's not. I may have to go back with the behind a mask or just pick one at random myself here. Acute. Nothing with that. Next random word is bite. There's got to be something with bite in there. Yes. Frostbite. Bite size. Bite down. Bite down could be the one to go with there. Bite size. I don't think I've wrote a song with that title yet. Bite size. Wait a minute. Case of Octothorpe. Yes, I did. I was part of that. Okay, so bite size. I've already written a song that has bite size. I was like, wait a minute. And then bite down, I don't think I have. I think bite down is going to be my winner. Okay, yes. Bite down is going to be the song title. All right, excellent. That took way longer than it has been taking this month right there. Just the random words, and to have two of the random words actually be associated with songs on songfight.org where I won the fight too. That's wild because I think if I look at the number of times that I've won on Songfight, it's a handful. It's not that many. For the unaware, Songfight being a community that has existed online since 2000. I found the site in 2003. I have won 6 times. And so the random word that came up for 2 of those 6 victories just happened to coincide with, Cryptic Comment and Let's Call It a Draw, which is 2 of the ones that I won. Wow. Wild for that to be the case. So with that in mind, yeah, we're gonna write a song. Gonna write and record it, as I've been doing every day this month, and every January since 2019. So this is year 8. This is year 8 of writing and recording a song every single day in January. Break out the calculator while this is coming up here, but that was 31 days times 7 years is 217 songs. When tonight's song is done, it will be song number 239 from January. All right. And we're going to be calling it Bite Down. And that's all I know thus far. Is that I will, you set aside the time to write, and you write. It becomes what it is. It's not necessarily going to be a good song, but I'm going to try to make it a decent song. I will attempt to make it a good song. Whether or not it actually will be good is anybody's guess. We're going to throw some distortion on there. Okay, how do I want to change this up? Let's tune up first. I actually do like what I was just doing though. Yeah, I'm hearing ideas now. Yeah, one of them sounded like it was off. That was that one. Yeah, I hear some possibilities on that. I think just a basic power chord there will be good. Okay, I definitely like this. I think that might be the chorus, though. Definitely like that, though. Yeah, I think that's going to be the chorus. I think that's the chorus. I don't know what the verses are going to sound like yet. But I think I've got the pre-chorus and the chorus. So let's start with the chorus, actually. I almost need to double check though, because I feel like I may have written a song called Bite Down before. I think I have written a song called Bite Down. I think we need a new title. Because I would prefer to not use a title that I've used before. And I think it's a Jamuary song from a previous year. I think I have absolutely written one called Bite Down. Yeah, it's coming, like, there's already a song called Bite Down that I've written. I need to have a database or something here for this sort of thing. Because I think I'm checking all the Januaries. I'll do this on here where it can be at least seen by some of you. Okay, it's not part of 2020. I think we're choosing a different title. Bite Down is the second song that I did in 2021. I need a new title. Good thing that I haven't saved it, but yeah, we're choosing a different title. All right, well, that throws that off. I will still go ahead and record this next little bit here, but then I'm going to need a new title. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Before I go any further, we're picking a different song title. We're picking a different song title now. Inspire. Song Fight Archives. Nothing. Next random word is diagram. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be in there. It is not. Penalty. That might be in there. Nope. Shocking. It's not. Extend. Nothing with the word extend in the Song Fight Archives. Present or present. Actually, very shocking that there's no present. There's no song title in the Song Fight Archives with present or present. That's wild. Nothing with the word match. Quota is the next random word. Nothing with quota. Worry. There's gotta be a song with worry in there. Okay, I've got to question whether it's just not showing up. Okay, no, the word take shows up, so it's just there really is no song in the Song Fight Archives with that word. Survey. Nope. Slime. Ew, I don't know if I want that one. Doesn't matter. It's nothing in there. Helicopter. Nothing with helicopter. College. Nothing in the Songfight archives with the word college in it. Address. I think there's right town, wrong address, and that's going to be really funny because that is yet another one I think I won. It is. What are the chances that the random words are attached to songs that I've won on Songfight? That is ridiculous. Professional. Soprano. Key. Guess my other thing. Oh, yeah, of course. He's going to show up all over the place. He is part of multiple words. Every time you have the, which renders this search practically useless. But it doesn't count. None of these count because none of them. There's her. There's no he. Alright, fine. Next one. Prefer. Is there anything in the Songfight archives with prefer? There is not. This is getting so much tougher. As I need a database, though, of song titles that I've used. Clearly. Restrict. Nope. Revoke. Nothing with revoke. Ghostwriter. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be anything. No, there's not. Generate random word. Chapter. Anything with chapter. Nothing with chapter. Glide. Fate is not playing along nice right now. Rescue. Nothing with rescue in there. Prevent. Come on. Something here. Oh my goodness gracious. This is not going well. Defendant. Brick. There's something with brick, isn't there? Yes. Favorite Lego bricks, look at the beach. No, that doesn't count. It's brick versus bricks, and I don't like that title at all. Meal. Volunteer. Wow. Mill. You would think like run of the mill, something like that. Okay, 500,000 yards, and the first million is the hardest, so no, that doesn't count. Habitat. This is something else. Feedback. Nothing with feedback. Board. B-O-A-R-D. Boarding call. I would almost accept that, but I'm trying to stick to my guns on this. Statement. No. I'm not going with... Okay, there's or. You know what? At this point, this or is part of so many. Dinner for one, dinner, like, funny enough, for you. These don't count. If there's something where it has the actual word or, we'll consider it. Wow, I am... And what's odd or irrational? Okay. That's... At this point, let's do that. Because I would say some of the choices have been odd or irrational. And I can safely say I've not written a song with that title. Odd or irrational. You know what? I that could work. Alright. Okay. So I was writing this chorus when I thought it was a different title. That's interesting. But I still think it fits. But to sit there and have the random word be associated with Songfight wins that I've had, which I've had a very small amount of Songfight wins. It just happened to show up for a bunch of those. And then start writing a song only realizing, oh, that's a title I've used before. So now I need something for the verses here, I think. Now Yeah, it is odd or irrational, so maybe I'll do something with a different time signature here. Might be tricky with the way that this works, though. Yeah, I like that actually. Let's do that. That lined up okay. One, two, three, four. So I guess it's 6. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that works for a chorus too. Yeah, so we're gonna probably want an intro, probably gonna want something after chorus 2. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Let's do that again. Do better. Yeah, it's a little weak there at the end. That's a name I've not seen in a while. Yeah, I don't hate that for a transition there. Come up with something good for an intro. Yeah, let's do that for the outro. Okay, so that's also going to serve as the intro, I think. So let's build a bear. You bought the album? Yeah, that's right. You were the one that requested WTFOB. Yeah, the OMG WTF BBQ. There you go. I thought that you were familiar. No, that makes sense. All right. Here we go. We're gonna build this from the get-go. 2, 3, and it's 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, and this is the verse. Pre-chorus. There's an odd time signature, I guess. I'm so glad someone enjoys the song When I Wear My Emo Pants, because that's definitely a throwaway as far as I'm concerned. But if you dig it, I'm glad it's out there. And to answer your question, Tiston, there's a few odd things that happened early on here within this. Break. I will say that was a real odd. That was irrational right there. That chord structure. Like, why on earth did I go to that B flat? I do not know, but I did it. Definitely irrational. Thank you, Fox P2. Plays. We have someone talking on Twitch this evening in addition to YouTube. Okay, here's our exit. The wild thing that happened at the beginning of this is I ended up, it took forever to come up with a title, but all of the random words that I was using ended up being words that were actually associated with Song Fight wins for me. And I've won Song Fight all of 8 times. And so 3 of the words that came up, if we look up Glenn Case in the archives here, 46 songs, I've won 6 times. 3 of those came up as a result of random words, where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I wrote a song like with that title, and it's one that I won. So I think Cryptic or Comment came up, I think Address came up, and Draw came up, and those just so happened to be associated with Song Fight Win. So that was odd. I don't know about Irrational. But the other thing that ended up happening is the song title that I started using was Bite Down. And I had this nagging feeling like, haven't you already written one called Bite Down? And so I looked through my Jamuary archives, and sure enough, I think it was in 2021, I had written a song called Bite Down already. So I didn't want to repeat titles, so I had to go back to the drawing board for the first time here. And I've realized I probably need a database if I'm going to do something like this again, where I'm using the Songfight archives and I don't want repeat titles. At the very least, for Jamuary songs, I need to create a spreadsheet or a database of some sort that I can check against, have I already used this title? And so that's where Odd or Irrational came up, and it was... The crazy part about that is the random word that worked for Odd or Irrational was or. Or was the word that I had to work with, and I'm like... And the problem is that or is part of so many other words that I wasn't finding anything in the Songfight archives with the word or either. Yeah, XL to the rescue. That's going to be what I'm going to end up having to do too. But if I'm looking for OR, 130 hits. There's more. Creator, Tomorrow, Retort, Disorder. I'm going through all of these like, I don't know if there's anything that I'm going to run across that even has just the word or. So I was just going through, and then luckily I came across Odd or Irrational. So the vibes, I guess, are kind of Odd or Irrational this evening. Because with what I've been doing, Pitchfork Nation, I think, is one that, like, I didn't write. Oh, I did write one for that. I knew I'd written one. I just didn't know if it was part of the actual song fight or if I'd written it later. But it actually was part of the fight. I didn't win on that one. That one was a decent song, actually. That's on my album, Catalyst. But when you have hundreds of songs, it's real easy to overlook some of this and be like, didn't I already write one with that title? Sure enough, I had. All right. So, having said that, we're going to go ahead and knock out some drums. And I got to remember that I believe the verses are in 6. Not an odd number, but an odd time signature. It's not 4/4. So we're going to do that. Let's go here. I had one stick there, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I can hear like this boom, pow, boom, pow, boom, pow. better than that, and I've actually came up with ideas that are a little bit better during that, so we'll see what happens here. All right, let's try it again. Let's do the intro correctly, though, too. Acceptable. Not great, but acceptable. All right. And I screwed up the ending. So what I did was I left it rolling on what I screwed up. Because I should be able to... So I should be able to move that back. So right there is where I'm going to want to start this. Kind of cheated, but kind of not. It's just I thought, oh, well, I screwed up, but if I just make everything happen a couple of measures later, come on, we're not trying to freeze or do anything weird here. We're just trying to split these. Okay. And I think it's there. So, in theory, with the click track especially, I should be able to just move these over. And it should be at least close. Yeah, probably just move that back just a little bit there. Yeah, there you go. Except that I need to potentially move it back a little further to where it's not as obvious. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get away with doing this, actually. I may have to do it as a... I may have to go back and just do this part. Yeah, let's do that, because I'm not going to get a good clean thing there. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play that part again. We're going to punch in. Goodness, it's poking me in the back the wrong way. All right. I think I could have gotten away with it for one through those meddling kids. But no, I could have gotten away with it had it not been for the cymbal crash. It's going to be really obvious that there was a punch-in, and I didn't want that to be an obvious punch-in. So now, where I played along with it, this might be better. No, that's a bad punch-in too. It's harder to do punch-ins with drums for that reason. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. If I played it even close to the same, it shouldn't be too bad here. There it is. That's the place. That's the punch-in right there. To drop this down a bit, and we're going to break. I'm going to play with the first guitar again, but where it's not pieced together like I do for coming up with the sections of the song. So I'm going to try to play it through. I may still punch in, but oh yeah. I was like, oh, that's going to be a problem. Let's fix it. Here we go. Okay, right idea. Da, 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 da. I was like, what did I do there? Right idea. All right, that wasn't too bad. One punch in. Yep, and that's a good place for that punch in. Let's get a bass handled here. And we're going to delete that guitar part because it's going to clash otherwise in a bad way. I think that'll sound way better. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just a little better. Yeah, I like how this one's coming together. Guitar number 2. like that. That might actually work. like that. I like that. beautiful up to that point. Come on, thanks so much. Yeah, I can dig where it's going. Let's export all that individual tracks. We're looking at an hour and 14 in. I am not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. We're gonna knock out the rest of this with some lyrics and some singing. That will not be the melody. I am confident of that. Alright, that is going to be auto-irrational. Auto-irrational. That is going to be 122, 2026. And after today, it's single digits. 9 songs remaining for the month once this one is completed. Let's get cracking. Let's get cracking on it. Template time. Import. Don't need that. We just need those. All right, we're getting somewhere. La da 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 da. Room mic, snare mic, oops, kick mic. And guitars, and I don't have a solo this time, but I think the rest of it's all there. Over here now, Twitch is not being very nice to me today. Oh, there you go, Super Mr. Jack 64. Skyman just left, but Tiston's there. Tiston's been here almost every night. Na, na, na. right, let's see what we got. That's the intro. And we got verse 1. Pre-chorus. Chorus. That would have been 16 years ago. That's pretty wild. What's funny is Tiston, I don't know if, like, for Tiston, it's maybe not been that far, but he's a fan of my work from Captain S as well. So, there you go. Tiston. Hey, I'm glad you're digging it, and I'm also digging it, and yeah, cool stuff. Skyman had to head out, but he was saying it was a good power rocker as well. We'll see if I can ruin it with lyrics or not. writing somewhere. I just don't know for sure. Here we go. Torn apart at the seams. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Let's do a harmony vocal. Torn apart at the seams. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Okay, we're going to do that 3 more times. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. I gotta change to a different key because it's a weird key that comes after it. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. I gotta do that. Because that's gonna sound right with the right chord there. That it's odd or irrational. There, that's close. That it's odd or irrational. Real weird choice there. Yeah, and that's going to be... Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Gotta go up with the higher part there because of the chord that comes next. No. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do there. That it's odd or irrational. Yeah, real weird. But with the chord behind it, it makes sense. And with the title being what it is, it kind of fits that it's a little odd. All right, we're going to go ahead and go with the harmony vocal. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. That's going to be nice. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. That's fun with the chords. Like, here's with the chords. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. And then back to that. So harmony vocal again. Torn, first note. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Torn up. I'm going to redo that one. The first one was fine, but I'm going to pick it back up at the same spot here, and let's do that again. Torn. That jumps in a little sooner than I thought. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Oh, you want to go up. Odd or irrational. Yeah, that's going to be where I need to go. That it's odd or irrational. There it is. That sounded decent. And we may or may not throw a third vocal in there, actually. Maybe just for the last chorus. That's all under fashion, though. We're going to go low instead of high on this, I think. Still out of fashion, though. Let's do that. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion, though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. I think I can do better. Let's try it again. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. All right, that works. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. All right. I need to write, and I did it again where I wrote it in the pre-chorus section instead of the chorus. Arrow. 2 nights in a row where I've done that. I need 2 pre-choruses and 2 verses, possibly a bridge. And then the song will be done. But let's go ahead and see where this goes. think I got verse 1. Okay, so we'll do that here. Let's go with the vocal for verse 1. Let's give myself a little more runway than that. Did I get it wrong? Well, that all depends, because all along rarely looked at trends. Did I get it wrong? Well, that all depends, because all along rarely looked at trends. Let's see what we got here. Did I get it wrong? Well, that all depends, because all along rarely looked at trends. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I got my pre-chorus, at least for the first pre-chorus. And here we go. It's the thing with Jamuary, you do not have time to second guess yourself. The song becomes what it is in real time. Can't get too precious about whether it's good or not. Some of them end up good, some of them don't. It's more or less an exercise in getting out of your own way. Sometimes the results are good, but regardless, it's a song. You set aside the time to make it, you create it. There's no rule that says that you cannot go back and fix it later. But for the evening, you get out of your own way, you don't get too precious about it, and the song becomes what it becomes. I understand at the end of the day, I am who I am. That's kind of where I went with the lyric there. All right, so let's harmonize that. I understand at the end of the day, I am who I am. Let's do the better, but that's the right idea. I understand at the end of the day, I am who I am. I understand at the end of the day, I am who I am. All right, so here's the verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Get it wrong. Yeah, let's see. Understand at the end of the day, I am who I am. time too. We're at an hour and 41 minutes, and I only need to write one more. That's a short verse too, so I only need one more short verse, a short pre-chorus, and a bridge, and it's going to be short too. So I'm all of 12 lines away from completing this song. I think I'm going to be done in the next 10-15 minutes. Rational. There's my second verse. Real close to finishing this one. All right. And it's up to them. They can point and laugh. Well, but then again, no skin off my back. And we're going to harmonize with that one because there's harmonies on both sides of it, and it's something new because there hasn't been a harmony vocal on the verse, so it's introducing something new to the ear, which I like doing that where possible. And it's up to them. They can point and laugh. Well, but then again, no skin off my back. And it's up to them. They can point and laugh. Well, but then again, no skin off my back. I could repeat that, but I think I'm gonna do a twist on it. We're gonna do a different pre-chorus.
Off my back. 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 Off my back.
There we go with this. You can hide, it's not hard, yeah, but that doesn't change who it is that you are. We're gonna do better, but it isn't bad. You can hide, it's not hard, yeah, but that doesn't change who it is that you are. Yeah, this one's writing itself. You can hide, it's not hard, yeah, but that doesn't change who it is that you are. There it is.
You can hide, it's not hard, yeah, but that doesn't change who it is that you are. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion, though. Not concerned if that means that it's all over rational.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about rhyming that part. I think this is it. I think this is the last part of the song. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. Alright. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. Let's harmonize that. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. Lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. Ooh, that sounds nice if I do that, damn it. Let's do it. If you're lucky, okay, this is going to be a stretch. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. That first note's not easy. I'm going to have to really prepare here. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion. Let's do that. But it's still out of fashion, though. That it's all irrational. And I did that as a low vocal before, but I think that's going to be anticlimactic if I don't just go back and do that as the high vocal. Another part at the seams. That's going to be really tough. Torn up, torn. We're gonna be hitting that. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion, though. Not good. Yeah, gonna have to do that in pieces. I'm older, and it's not as easy to hit the higher ones like that. But the first one sounded pretty good, I think. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Todd! Oops. Oh, I guess I gotta do the second half of it, yeah. Not concerned if that means that it's all irrational. Forgot that I gotta go higher there. Not concerned if that means that it's all irrational. I think that actually came out okay. Not concerned if that means that it's all. Nah, I think I can do better than that though. That means is a little rough. Not concerned if that means that it's all irrational. Yeah, I think that was probably better. fellas.
Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that at all. You can hear the mouse clip. Yeah, that wasn't bad. All right, I think that is everything. So let's mix it down, call it a night. That was quick. Hour and 57. Gonna come in at around 2 hours. Not at all mad at that. Perfect example of getting out of your own way, though, for real.
Did I get it wrong? Well, that all depends.
All right, let's do the thing. Master Ed. Do 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 do. Ba da 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 da. Get the right hard drive. It's this one. 2026. Waves there. And let's finish this up.
Did I get it wrong? Well, that all depends. Because all along, rarely looked at trends. I understand at the end of the day, I am who I am. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. And it's up to them. They can point and laugh. Well, but then again, no skin off my back. You can hide, it's not hard, yeah, but that doesn't change who it is that you are. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. If you're lucky, then one day you'll find yourself torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational. Torn apart at the seams, but it's still out of fashion though. Not concerned if that means that it's odd or irrational.
Yep. I'm not mad at that at all. Cool. 9 days remaining. We're in the single digits. Single digits, Bill. Let's go. All right. And that was kind of my Friday because I took the day off tomorrow. But I'm still planning tomorrow. Probably going to do this around the same time that I've been doing it. Saturday's going to be a different story, though. Saturday, you can anticipate it to be way earlier. It's going to be in the daytime because we have plans on Saturday evening that will get in the way of doing one of these. And I have the day off, so on Saturday you can anticipate that it's going to be maybe 9 hours earlier. Maybe not quite that. Probably 7 hours earlier than usual. So, like, take the current time and subtract like 9.5 hours. I imagine I'm going to start at around noon my time. Maybe a little earlier. So it's just going to be in the daytime or just way earlier on Saturday. But all the rest of these will probably be around the same time. The whole 7 p.m. thing. So, all right. We out. Have a good one. Calling it.